All right, so this is part 3, our final section on stress and health psychology. And so in this section, we're actually going to be talking about support and coping and all those positive things. So first, we're going to talk about the gender differences in social support. So men, they tend to rely heavily on their close relationship with their spouses or their partner. They really have a smaller network of friends than women do. They also may be particularly vulnerable to social isolation, especially if a spouse dies. And that actually may be part of why the benefits of being married are so much higher for men than they are for women. They're more likely to be distressed only by negative events that occur to themselves or to their immediate family, like their spouses or their children. Women, on the other hand, they also are more likely to have more close friends in addition to that spouse or partner. They tend to reach out to one another for support and comfort, and they tend to mobilize social support in times of stress. So if something's happening to one of their friends, they're right there to provide support. They're also more likely to seek support. Women are also more likely to suffer some of those problematic aspects of social support. They're more likely to serve as the providers of the support, which can add to stress. They're more likely to suffer from stress contagion effect and become upset about negative life events that happen to other people for whom they care about. And they're more likely than men to be upset about negative events that happen to relatives and friends and a larger social circle. So in providing effective social support, there are several broad categories, the first of which is emotional, and these are expressions of concern, empathy, and positive regard. Then there are the tangible social supports, direct assistance, whether it be lending money, helping with meals, helping with childcare, etc. Or informational support. These are helpful suggestions or resources that could be beneficial. For example, telling someone, oh, you could reach out to this person and they'll be able to help you. So you are most likely to be perceived as helpful if you're a good listener, if you show concern or interest, if you ask questions to encourage the person to express those feelings or emotions, if you express affection, for example, offer a hug, if you're willing to invest time and attention to helping, and if you can help the person with something practical. It's also important to know what not to say or do and what will be perceived as unhelpful. So don't give advice if they didn't ask for it. Don't say, I know exactly how you feel, because chances are you don't know exactly what that person is feeling. Don't say things like, don't make such a big deal out of it. Could be a lot worse. Or don't worry, because it belittles that person and what he or she is feeling and going through. Don't joke about it. Don't be overly cheerful. Don't offer philosophical or religious interpretations of stressful events. For example, don't say things like, oh, well, this is fate, or, well, it's God's will that this happens. And don't make a big deal out of the support you provide, because that just adds to the stress. If you tell a person, oh, well, look what I've done for you, maybe you'll have to pay it back to me, things of that nature. And remember, although social support is helpful, it is not a substitute for professional counseling or psychotherapy. Sometimes encouraging others to seek professional help is the best support you can give them. So cultures also view coping strategies a little bit differently. Americans and other members of individualistic societies, they tend to emphasize personal autonomy and personal responsibility, and they're less likely to seek social support. They emphasize that importance and the value of exerting control over their circumstance, especially if the circumstances are threatening or stressful. So they're the ones who are going to be, I need to fix this, I need to take charge of this. They want to control the circumstances. They favor problem-focused strategies like confrontative coping, planful problem solving, directly changing the situation to achieve a better fit for their own wishes or goals. Conversely, collective cultures, such as Asian cultures, they're more oriented towards social groups, family, or community to seek social support. There's a greater emphasis on controlling personal reactions to a stressful situation, as opposed to controlling that situation itself. People in China, Japan, and other Asian cultures are more likely to rely on emotional coping strategies than people in individualistic cultures. They practice things like emotional self-control, gracefully accepting one's fate, making the best of a bad situation, maintaining harmonious relationships with family members, and focus on gaining control over their inner feelings by accepting and accommodating the existing reality. The Japanese emphasize accepting difficult situations with maturity, serenity, and flexibility. A couple other common sayings are things like the true tolerance is to tolerate the intolerable, and flexibility can control rigidity. So they stress the goal of controlling the outward expression of the emotions, no matter how distressing the situation is. So there is no formula for effective problem solving in all situations. We can use multiple coping strategies through almost every situation. We just need to identify what will work best in that given moment in time. So as we talk about all this, we want to talk about how to minimize the effects of stress. And one of the first ways is actually to avoid the use of stimulants. People often turn to stimulants to keep them going, and it could be coffee or caffeine or cigarettes or some other form of nicotine. And the thing is that smokers tend to react to stress by smoking, but that actually works against you in coping with stress. Stimulants can increase heart rate and blood pressure, and stimulant users are already primed to respond with greater reactivity because of the physical effects of the stimulants. So avoiding stimulant use altogether is best, but if that's not possible, just monitor and limit the use, and it's particularly important when you're under stressful situations. It's easier to deal with stress when your nervous system is not already in high gear due to stimulants. Exercising regularly can help minimize the effects of stress. Numerous studies all show the same thing. Regular exercise is one of the best ways to reduce the impact of stress. Things like aerobic activity, whether it be walking, swimming, running, 20 minutes of a brisk walk 4 to 5 times a week has been one of the main things they've proven is beneficial. Just about any kind of physical exercise buffers the negative effects of stress. Physically fit people are less physiologically reactive to stressors and produce lower levels of stress hormones. Regular exercise also reduces anxiety and depressed feelings and increases self-confidence and self-esteem. It's also important to get enough sleep. Concentration, making decisions, following directions, patience, attention, reaction time, energy, all those are likely to decrease if a person's not getting enough sleep. That has a potential to become a vicious cycle. Even if just for a few nights, it has a potential to have an impact. Inadequate sleep can cause physical issues like susceptibility to illness. For tips to promote getting a good night's sleep, take a look at the Psych for Your Life section of Chapter 4. So our final one here, we have practice relaxation or meditation techniques. Regularly using one or a variety of relaxation techniques can actually help alleviate stress. So meditation, that's one effective technique. It involves focusing mental attention, heightening awareness, and quieting the internal chatter. It's usually practiced sitting quietly. It can also be done with a meditative walk. And then there's mindfulness. So mindfulness is one form of meditation. It's actually developed by a Buddhist practice, and it's shown to help prevent and relieve stress. Definitions of what mindfulness is are varied, but our course defines it as a technique in which practitioners focus awareness on present experience with acceptance. So it follows the belief that most psychological stress is caused by our reactions to events and circumstances, by our emotions, our thoughts, and our judgments. And mindfulness is a way to clear and calm our mind. It involves paying attention to our mental experiences without having any judgment and no reaction. There's also mindfulness of breathing. That's what's often recommended for beginners. It's just about focusing on breathing in and breathing out. Usually people begin doing their meditations or mindfulness for about 5 minutes and can work their way up to 20 or 30 minutes. So I'm going to take a moment and we're actually going to do a mindfulness that I used to do with my patients all the time. So I would just like for you to sit calmly and stilly, close your eyes, and just bring your attention to your breathing. Feel yourself breathing in, and then release all of your tension and stress as you exhale. Breathe in happiness and good thoughts and positivity. Breathe out negativity, stress, anxiety. And now I want you to take a moment and I want you to start being aware of your body. With your eyes still closed, be aware of the sounds around you. What are you hearing? Now take a moment with your eyes still closed. Notice the light that you can still see. Now I want you to be present within your body. Feel where your body is right now. Feel yourself in your seated position or wherever you are at the moment. Feel where your body is, your body's contact with the surface. Be engaged and present and aware with that. Be aware of the smells around you. Is there anything that you can smell? Remember to keep breathing in a relaxed manner. Breathe in slowly through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. Allow yourself to be present in this moment. Allow yourself to feel everything going on around you with no judgment. Any thoughts that appear in your mind, turn them into balloons and let them float away. Keep yourself focused on what your body is experiencing right in this moment. When you are ready, you can open your eyes and return to the world. Continue your breathing in through your nose. Breathe in all that positivity. Breathe out negativity and stress. I hope that you enjoyed that moment of mindfulness, and I hope that you found it beneficial. So this brings us to the end of chapter 12. Thank you.